So, when you think about the founding of Savannah, Georgia, what name pops into your head? Probably just one, right? Well, what if I told you the story we all learned is missing like two of its main characters? Okay, let's dive in and unpack the real story of how this city was built on a truly unlikely alliance. Yeah, the popular version of the story, it usually starts out simple enough. We're told the entire colony of Georgia was basically the brainchild of just one man. And his mission? Oh, it sounds so noble, doesn't it? He's going to create this haven, a brand new start for the worthy poor who were just wasting away in Britain's awful debtors' prisons. It's a great story, you know? Social justice, second chances, all that good stuff. But is that really what went down? The historical record tells a much more complex and, frankly, a much more interesting story. All right, so to get to the truth, we've got to start by clearing up some stuff about the man at the center of this whole myth, James Oglethorpe. Okay, so here's the real deal with Oglethorpe. He was a member of parliament, and he absolutely cared about prison reform. I mean, his own friend tragically died in a debtor's prison, so this was personal for him. But here's the thing, he wasn't some lone wolf. He was just one of 21 trustees who got the charter for Georgia. What made him so special? He was the only one who actually got on a boat and went over to the new colony to see it through. And that's what made him the de facto leader, in practice, but not officially. He was never actually given the title of governor or anything, but since he was the only trustee physically there, he was the one calling the shots, leading the military, basically shaping the whole colony. He was the boss in practice, even if it wasn't on paper. And let's just be crystal clear on this. That whole dream of a colony just for debtors, while it might have been an idea he kicked around, it just never happened. It's a myth. The real story, the one that actually built Savannah, involved a super important alliance. Right. Oglethorpe's success wasn't just his own. It was completely, 100% dependent on an alliance with two other incredible people, Tomochichi and Mary Musgrove. So first up, let's talk about Tomochichi. He was the chief of the Yamacraw people, and this guy was a brilliant strategist. He saw the British arriving not as some huge threat, but as a real opportunity. He figured an alliance would mean powerful new trading partners, and maybe more importantly, a strong ally against the Spanish, who were breathing down their necks from the south. And the person who made this whole thing possible? Mary Musgrove. I mean, her backstory is just incredible for that time. Her mom was Creek and her dad was British. So she was fluent in both languages and just got both cultures, inside and out. She was the absolute perfect go-between. And on top of all that, she was a successful businesswoman, a trader in her own right. Yeah, this quote really sums it up. She wasn't just a simple translator, swapping words back and forth. No way. Musgrove was a cultural broker. She literally built a bridge between these two worlds, which led not just to a land deal, but to a real lifelong friendship between Oglethorpe and Tomochichi. And it's this incredible three-way partnership built on trust and mutual respect that directly leads to the creation of a brand new city. Get this date in your head, February 12th, 1733. That's the day Oglethorpe and his settlers show up. But they don't roll in like conquerors. They arrive as invited guests at a spot called Yamacraw Bluff, a piece of land generously offered up by Tomochichi himself. And if you look at this, you can see it wasn't a one-sided deal at all. It was a true partnership. Oglethorpe got the land he desperately needed for his colony. Tomochichi got that powerful British alliance and trade he was looking for. And Mary Musgrove, she got to expand her trading business and secure her own influence in land. Everybody gave something, and everybody got something major in return. So this is the key takeaway, right? Savannah wasn't just built on some neat grid plan that Oglethorpe drew up. Its real foundation, that was the personal connection, the genuine friendship between these three totally different people. But, what happens after the handshake, after the city gets its start? Well, their paths started to go in different directions, and their legacies got, a lot more complicated. This timeline gives you a quick snapshot. So just 6 years after they founded the city, Tomochichi passes away, and he's buried with full British military honors. That tells you how much respect he commanded. Then a few years later, Oglethorpe heads back to England, and he never comes back to Georgia again. But Mary Musgrove, her story was far from over. You see, after Oglethorpe was gone, the new colonial officials basically tried to cheat her. They refused to honor the land grants she'd gotten from Creek leaders as payment for her crucial work. But she did not back down. She organized a protest, took her case all the way to the British courts. I mean, this was a years-long fight, but in the end, she won, securing St. Catherine's Island for herself. What a powerhouse. So why does any of this matter? Why is it so important to know this bigger, more complete story? Well, because it swaps a simple, kind of boring and inaccurate myth for a reality that is so much richer. The founding of Savannah wasn't about one man and his one idea. It was a team effort, a dynamic partnership between a British politician, a Yamacraw chief, and a bicultural translator and a businesswoman. And that's the real lesson here. History is almost never about lone heroes doing everything themselves. It's about interdependence, it's about diplomacy, negotiation, and the really hard work of building bridges across massive cultural divides. The real story of Savannah, Tomochichi, and Mary Musgrove really makes you think, doesn't it? It forces us to ask a really important question about all the history we've ever learned. Whose stories, whose vital contributions have been left on the cutting room floor?